Astral Terra Adventures on the Plains. Explore, adventure, craft, build, survive. How will you shape your world? Astral Terra is a smooth voxel procedurally generated open world game with RPG and survival elements. And has been abandoned. Hello all, it's Marco from Random Door Media here to ask the question, what the heck is Astral Terra? As the Steam store description indicates, this is yet another in the line of open-world survival crafting games with randomly generated terrain. As my added comment implies, this game appears to have been abandoned, therefore the question might be best suited as what the heck was Astral Terra? However, the game is still available to buy on the Steam store. I first saw this game on the Steam Greenlight page, remember back when Steam had that? Sometime before 2015. I had voted yes because at the time I was still waiting for a game that could offer the playability and game options like Minecraft, but had better graphics. Therefore, I was agreeing to virtually any game that stated it offered a randomly generated terrain with crafting and building. Astral Terra then officially launched on the Steam store in November 2015 as an early access game and still holds that tag. Unfortunately, the game has a rating of mostly negative, which is probably due to the idea that the game appears to be abandoned. The latest update was in April 2020, titled New Update 1.3 out, Winter Biome Changed with Fixes. Even so, it looks like the game last seen work in 2018. There was one update in 2020, one in 2019, but several in 2018-2017. The game was being developed by Tethys Interactive LLC. Although searching for this name brings up a lot of results on the internet, the company appears to be defunct. The official Tethys Interactive website first caused my browser to present a warning, potentially dangerous website, but then the site itself appears to be non-active. The last communication on the game's Steam discussion appears to be from 2018, and therefore it'd be safe to say that Astral Terra has passed on.
This game is no more. It has ceased to be. It's expired and gone to see its maker. This is a late
game.
This is an X
game. So let's take a look at what the game could have offered as well as what Tethys Interactive left behind. The developers did offer a bit of lore to the game world in that the character you played was a planar warden and you were traversing the endless realm of the Fey Sanctum. The game would have typical survival game elements such as exploration, crafting, and building. There were 6 options for the character's look, which came from 3 races, Fey, Dark Elf, and Dwarf, with 2 sexes each. The different character looks were unique, I must say, so that was a decent option. You could modify the terrain at any time, costing no resources. This was meant to be a magical power of sorts called the Kunamun Astra. You could add or remove land and even change the textures with no restrictions. Same thing with building. You could build structures using various shapes, materials, and prefab, and this was meant to be one of your character's powers, so no grinding for resources. The next-gen dynamically generated worlds, also known as randomly generated terrain. Discovery and adventure. Explore the world to find caves and rare materials for crafting. Mining and crafting. Gather materials to craft items. Gain experience points from combat, harvesting, and exploration to spend on various skills. Combat with various aggressive enemies. Lastly, the game could be played solo or with friends. So other than the unlimited terrain modifying and building, this seems like most survival crafting building types of games that are on the market. So before we take a look at the actual game, let's see what the reviews are that are on the Steam page. Keep in mind, this is not Steam customer reviews. This is reviews that are on the actual store page put there by the developers. From Indie Game Mag. In gaming land, players can be and see anything. The only limits are imagination. Aiming to take this concept to new dimension is Tethys Interactive's Astral Terra. Sounds interesting. Next is from Indie RPGs. Morrowind meets Minecraft. That's my first impression looking at this open world 3D ARPG. The graphics are nicer than either of those games, but it still manages to implement Minecraft's world creation and destruction mechanics. That it does so in a truly alien-looking open-ended fantasy world is reminiscent of the Elder Scrolls Morrowind is icing on the proverbial cake. And lastly, from 2-Stash. With the constantly changing worlds, there is no limit to the wonders that Astral Terra can provide. It's rare that a game truly leaves me in awe of what they're doing. Astral Terra is getting to that point. The thought of ever-changing worlds that I can change on a whim is very intriguing. I hope it lives up to its potential. Does Astral Terra live up to the potential? Let's find out. As I start the game, it crashes right away. I guess that means there's no taking a look at it. So that's it for this video. Take care, everyone. But when I click on Close Program, the game starts up. So we're not off to a good start. A few simple game setting options like graphics quality and sound levels. Why is the Quit Game button here in the settings? I just noticed in the upper right that it is the beta version of the game. Keep that in mind. Okay, single player. I had a previous playthrough but only played for a few minutes, so let's begin anew. The character screen offers a few options, including the 3 races with 2 sexes, each for 6 distinctive looks. The developers add a bit of lore along the side. I wonder if any of that information will actually come into play. I choose a dwarf with some hair and a big bushy beard.
A great big bushy beard.
And create a new world. Now we are in the actual game. Right away I have a problem with the movement. It looks like the keys are set to use Q and E for strafing and A and D for turning, which is a setup I do not like. I have not seen keyboards use that configuration for like decades? I try to find the settings to see if the keybinds can be changed. Pressing escape does not bring up a main menu. Oh boy. Eventually I find the settings by clicking on the gear icon in the lower right. However, while I'm trying to adjust the keybinds, I'm accosted by one of the locals, a jack-o'-lantern man. He is either very protective of his territory, or his flaming pumpkin head is driving him nuts and he's taking out his aggression on anyone nearby. I try to use my mad dwarf evasion skills of running away, but Pumpkinhead will have none of that. Off with my head! What is more annoying than getting attacked 20 seconds into a new game? Realizing that you have the left and right strafing keys reversed while getting attacked. I cannot outrun Pumpkinhead, and I also have nothing to lose, so I stop and fiddle with the keybinds again. Needless to say, I get defeated. But then a valiant griffin jumps in to save me and takes Sir Pumpkin's attention away from my unconscious body. I approach what appears to be a merchant. He has an exclamation mark over his head, but on the map appears a $sign, the universal symbol of mercantile. Then it looks like the leash laws are pretty loose in this neighborhood as someone's dog gets a little too friendly. Finding my feeble punches to be useless, I let my new griffin friend take care of the werewolf. I try to pick up what appears to be loot on the ground, but none of the regular keys for interacting seem to do anything. The keybinds say the F key is for action, but the F key, it does nothing. Then I discover quite by accident that left clicking on the merchant interacts with them. Of course, why did I think the action key was what was used to perform the actions? There appears to be a few items for sale, especially home decoration items, but the interface is terrible. It is just one long scrolling page of items for sale that are not sorted in any way. A shovel is next to a snowman, which is next to a spell tome. Besides, I have no money anyways. I check my inventory, and hey, I have tools. So I do what you're supposed to do in a survival game, chop down a tree to gather wood. It seems that interacting with anything from the merchant to chopping a tree to gathering material from the ground is all done by left clicking on it. When I left click on the tree, there's no need to hold the button down. Clicking on the tree once, the character is locked into an animation where they swing the axe 3 times and out pops a piece of wood. Now that I have some wooden goodies to sell, I return to the merchant, only to realize I have no idea how to sell items. The interface for the store is very simplistic and not user-friendly at all. So let's try out the structure building mechanics. Building structures is one of my favorite aspects of survival gameplay, but I cannot figure out how to do so. There is a listing of various structure components, but I don't see how to actually enable any. Maybe I'll get back to that later. I then check out the interface and encounter something that I detest in video games. Pressing escape does not close a window. In fact, pressing escape does nothing. Usually games are designed so that regardless of the key used to open a window, pressing escape will close the window, and when no window is open, pressing escape brings up a main menu. Astral Terra does not do that. I then test out a shovel and realize that the terrain deformation is not very precise. When I dig, the ground lowers in a rather large circle. But then I remember that the game has unlimited terraforming, so let's test that out. I select the terraform icon and see a variety of options such as strength, radius, type, material, and camera. At first the mechanics seem to work, but the more I use it, the more I see how awkward the controls are. The magic cube is a set distance from the character, but the distance can be changed with the mouse scroll wheel. I play around with this option some more and then enable the free camera mode. Okay, so now I'm not limited to my character's view and can move the magic cube around. I use this to get some revenge on the jack-o'-lanterns and open pits below them. Haha, suckers! I try to dig down to see how far the land goes, only to discover an odd limitation. The viewing angle is limited so that you cannot look straight down. Trying to dig downwards causes the camera to phase through the terrain. While playing around with the terraforming cube, I somehow cause a crafting window to appear. I honestly have no idea how this happened. But I was reminded that, oh yeah, the game is supposed to have item crafting. I return to the building mechanics and try again to see how to build something. I see that the building tips state that placing pieces require resources. But hold on! The core features under the game store page states that you have unlimited build tools. Quote, the tool is one of your core world power, so gathering materials is not needed. Unquote. Well, I have some dirt and wood by now, but I see no way of selecting any of it. But while messing around with this, I press the P key, which brings up a list of powers. I have 3 powers: Terra Wave, Crafting Station, and Healing. Now we're getting somewhere. I summon the crafting station, and materializing out of nowhere is a wagon and an anvil. Oh, this is the crafting station. I make some stairs because all I have is some wood, and this is one of the few items that use wood. Okay, I'm able to place the stairs into the world. What the heck is the build option for? The stairs work! 1 point for Astral Terra. As there is a big boulder nearby, I decide to gather some stone using the pickaxe. Just like with the tree, the harvest animation is automated. Just click once on the boulder and the character swings 3 times and a piece of stone appears on the ground. I also discovered that the stairs I place, or the boulder, or both have really odd bounding boxes. My character is unable to walk between the two despite there being plenty of empty space. I try to harvest more stone, but appear to be unable to do so again. I click repeatedly until I finally find a sweet spot. Picking up items from the ground can be a chore as you have to left click on the items individually and the hitboxes are not always accurate. Sometimes it feels like there's a delay between clicking and picking up. I see that the merchant fell into one of my jack-o'-lantern traps, so I help him out. I then discover that items are sold by dragging them from the inventory to the store window. So now I can sell items. And since I've discovered the secret behind picking up items, left-clicking on them, I gather some of the loot that's scattered about. No doubt evidence that my griffin friend was busy keeping the area safe from nasty monsters. I sell some items and purchase a trusty mace. I need something to bonk the rowdy locals with. And then immediately find a battle axe just lying on the ground. Getting bored with nothing to do, I go out for a jog. And just a jog, as the game does not appear to have a sprint option. The game tells me I'm hungry, so I eat one of the carrots that I began the game with, only to find that eating has a cooldown. I continue my trek across the land looking for something of interest. So far the graphics are pretty decent. They're old, yes, the game looks like something from 2015. But most people can overlook older style graphics if the gameplay is fun and engaging. The gameplay is not fun or engaging. You can tell that we're in some strange fantasy land the way the mountain shadow moves a chunk at a time. I travel some more while attempting to outrun the setting sun. Under attack by another werewolf, instead of using my weapon to fight, I thought it'd be quicker to dig an anti-werewolf hole. But I forgot how clunky the controls were. Fortunately, the beast's attacks are not lethal and I'm able to trap it in a hole. Victory for me! And the helpful griffin comes along to finish off the beast. I used the healing power and... it works? Wow, it works just how I expected it to. Good job, Astral Terra. More traveling and another merchant. I wonder if this is the same merchant from earlier who just teleports around the world, or if this is a new guy who just happens to look the same. I summon the crafting wagon to double check if there's something else that can be done with it. I do not find any other options, so back to exploring. I come across a deep ravine ahead and a high cliff face to the side. I try to dig into the side of the cliff only to remember that shovels are not for tunneling but for gathering dirt. I switched to the magic terraforming cube, but it's awkward to use because of the limited camera angle. Looking around the world, I see some interesting formations near the top of the cliff nearby and head over to check that out. Along the way, I discovered that jumping is a pretty good way of scaling an almost vertical cliff. Near the top I see some different looking textures. After digging with the shovel there appears to be another layer. I think the stuff on the top is supposed to be snow. Moving along I get closer to the top of the mountain and see a small ravine. I think this is supposed to be one of the generated caves. Over the top of the hill I see more formations like this and decide to investigate. Along the way I encounter my old nemesis, Jack-o'-lantern pumpkin-headed man. I test out the Terra Wave power, which appears to be a ranged location select area damage power. It seems to affect old Pumpkinhead, but he does not react, and the power has a 14-second cooldown. I hit him again, still does not react. I move on, I have better things to do. What's this? Is this a resource that can be harvested? It's gold! There's gold in them thar hills! And there seems to be a bunch of it around. This would probably be exciting if I planned on playing the game, but I've already seen enough. I keep moving until I come across a nearby cave to confirm, yep, it looks like a cave. I test out the Quit Game button, and fortunately, it works exactly as intended. That, the heck, is Astral Terra. Let's go over some of the facts. The controls and interface are clunky. The graphics are older, but not terrible. The only part of the building mechanic I could do was to craft and place a set of stairs. The building tips are cryptic. It was a neat idea to have unlimited terraforming, but the interface and controls are too sloppy to be useful. Summoning a crafty wagon to use for crafting items was a unique feature. The NPCs are just mindless merchants wandering around, and enemies that wander around and attack if you get too close. Having to click on everything to interact with, especially to pick up items on the ground, was tedious. Now, all of these points would not be a problem if the game was in early development and was still being worked on. But the game is obviously abandoned, so there'll be no further updates and this is all there is. The game is currently selling on the Steam store for about $11.49 Canadian, or around $8.50 US dollars, or €8. When I got this game back in I think it was 2014, 2015, I paid $5 for it. I paid that money so you don't have to. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and check out the other videos on the channel. But that's it for now. Take care everyone.